कैसे हो आप सभी लोग? आई होप सारे अच्छे होंगे. सो आई एम बैक विद द टॉपिक ऑन लाइक आई वाज कंटिन्यूइंग विद वेक्टर्स इन 3D ज्योमेट्री. सो द वेक्टर एंड 3D ज्योमेट्री का जो लेक्चर डिस्कशन था, जो कॉन्सेप्ट था, सारे कवर हो चुके हैं. सो इन दिस टुडेस लेक्चर वी डिस्कस द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस which came up on the topic of 3D geometry. So I will be taking up the 3D geometry right now in this present lecture moment. Okay, and in the upcoming lectures I will be taking up the vector previous year questions of JEE Mains. ठीक है, और JEE Mains कवर करने के बाद I will take up the questions which came up in JEE Advanced. ठीक है, तो I will continue this series. Okay, so don't be afraid that I will be taking up some few number of questions. मैं क्वेश्चन लेते जाऊंगा जब तक आई डोंट फील लाइक आई हैव टेकन अप द गुड अमाउंट ऑफ क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, मैं सारे इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन डिस्कस करने वाला हूँ और बाकी तो आपका काम होता है कि यू हैव टू कवर द अदर प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, तो माय नेम इज शीर्षा एंड आई एम अ बीटेक स्टूडेंट एट IIT खड़गपुर. Okay, so we will discuss about the planes and straight lines previous year questions and we will also do a small recap. ठीक है, तो शुरू करते हैं आज का फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. सो आई वुड से कि सबसे पहले तो क्वेश्चन वीडियो को पॉज करो एंड ट्राई दिस क्वेश्चन ऑन योर सेल्फ. ठीक है, मैं आई हैव कवर्ड द ऑल द कॉन्सेप्ट दैट वाज रिक्वायर्ड टू सॉल्व दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, तो कॉन्सेप्ट सारे कवर हो चुके हैं. ओनली टास्क इज ऑफ यू इज बेसिकली टू सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, प्रैक्टिस करो क्वेश्चन के सॉल्व करने के साथ साथ मेरे साथ साथ बैठे रहो और बने रहो, क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करते रहो, रफ कॉपी में लेके बैठ जाओ. ठीक है, दैट विल बी माई गुड ओनली एडवाइस. ठीक है, तो शुरू करते हैं फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. सो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन सेज इज बेसिकली द क्वेश्चन ऑन स्ट्रेट लाइंस. इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट द शॉर्टेस्ट डिस्टेंस बिटवीन टू स्ट्रेट लाइंस. ठीक है, सबसे पहले अपना कंडीशन क्या होना वाला है कि शॉर्टेस्ट डिस्टेंस अगर चेक करना है, सबसे पहले चेक तो कर लो पहले ये पैरेलल लाइंस है क्या नहीं. तो देख के लग रहा है कि पैरेलल लाइंस है नहीं. ठीक है, बिकॉज द डायरेक्शन डिस्टेंस आर नॉट प्रोपोर्शनल. ठीक है, तो यहाँ से डायरेक्शन डिस्टेंस अगर प्रोपोर्शनल नहीं है इस पर्टिकुलर लाइन दो लाइंस के, तो दे आर नॉट पैरेलल लाइंस. और शॉर्टेज डिस्टेंस का जो फॉर्मूला होता है उसको सॉल्व कर लेते हैं सबसे पहले, और जो सॉल्व करते हैं जीरो आ गया, दैट मीन्स इट इज इंटरसेक्टिंग लाइन, अदरवाइज इट विल बी स्क्यू लाइंस. ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले वी नो हाउ टू सॉल्व दिस पर्टिकुलर शॉर्टेज डिस्टेंस. द शॉर्टेज डिस्टेंस का जो कॉन्सेप्ट होता है दैट इज बेसिकली द प्रोजेक्शन ऑफ वेक्टर formed by 2 points on the lines, both the lines, on the lines on its normal vector, that means a vector which is perpendicular both the lines. ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले अगर मैं देखूँ इस पर्टिकुलर दो लाइंस को, मैं अगर कुछ ऐसे ड्राइंग करने की कोशिश करूँ, बोथ आर सम स्क्यू लाइंस. सो फर्स्ट लाइन क्या लूँ, जो वेक्टर मैं डायरेक्ट करना चाहता हूँ दैट इज L1 वेक्टर and the line which is and the vector which is directed along the second line is L2 vector. तो सबसे पहले in order to calculate the normal vector corresponding to both L1 vector and L2 vector I have to perform the cross product. तो सबसे पहले let me calculate the Ln, that means the normal vector. So that is L1 vector cross L2 vector. ठीक है, तो ये वाला अगर वेक्टर को मैं कैलकुलेट करूँ दैट इज बाय द फॉर्मिंग डिटर्मिनेंट. अगर मैं इसको सॉल्व करूँ, ओके, सो फ्रॉम हियर आई विल गेट 1 -2 2 ओवर हियर 1 2 एंड 0 ओवर हियर. इसको सॉल्व करने पे मुझे मिलेगा लाइक आई एम एक्सपेंडिंग दिस डिटर्मिनेंट ऑन द फर्स्ट रो. ठीक है, सो आई विल गेट इट एज माइनस ऑफ 4 माइनस आई कैप जे कैप टाइम्स ऑफ, दिस विल बी माइनस ऑफ 2 एंड प्लस k cap times of 2 minus of minus 2, that is plus of 4. So from here I will get the n vector as minus 4 I cap plus 2 j cap plus 4 k cap. Okay, so from here I got the normal vector which correspond to both the straight lines. Okay, so the next task is basically to form a vector which correspond to both the points. Okay, so एक अगर पॉइंट L2 लाइन में मैं पॉइंट को एज्यूम करूँ दैट इज बेसिकली फ्रॉम दिस इक्वेशन ऑफ स्ट्रेट लाइन आई विल गेट द पॉइंट एज 4, 1, -3. आई होप यू आर एबल टू रिलेट दिस पर्टिकुलर फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर इक्वेशन ऑफ स्ट्रेट लाइन. ठीक है, आप इस इक्वेशन ऑफ स्ट्रेट लाइन से आप इस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट को रिलेट कर पा रहे होंगे. ठीक है, एंड इफ आई कंसिडर अ पॉइंट ऑन द फर्स्ट स्ट्रेट लाइन इट विल -2, 0, 5. Okay, so from here I got 2 points which basically lies on these two lines. Okay, so let me form a vector corresponding to these points. Okay, so let me name this vector as AB vector A and this is B vector. Okay, so if I try to form AB vector or BA vector, anyone you can do because after all we will be taking the projection as well. So if I try to form BA vector, it will be -2 minus of 4, that is minus of 6 I cap. Okay, and for the second one it will be minus of j cap and really 5 minus of -3, that is plus of 8 k cap. So if I talk about the shortest distance is basically the projection of this particular vector on its normal vector. So for that I will be doing that this BA vector dot n vector divided by the modulus of n vector. Okay, that means the magnitude of n vector. So from here if I solve this I will get Okay, and we have already calculated the normal vector as minus 4 I cap plus 2 j cap plus 4 times of k cap, and whole divided by modulus of this particular vector, it will be the square root of 4 square is 16 plus 16 plus 4, that makes up, okay, 32 plus 4, that is 36, root 36 is basically equal to 6. So from here I will get the result as 24, okay, and this will be minus of 2 and this will be plus of 32 and whole divided by 6. So from here the result to the basic question is basically how much. So from here if I subtract minus 2 from this particular addition, so this will be 54, okay, 54 divided by 6, that is basically equal to some 9 units. Okay, so I will got the result as basically shortest distance between two skew lines are basically equal to 9 units. So from here the right answer to the question will be option D. I hope you are able to solve this particular question on your own. This is a pretty simple question that came up in JEE Mains paper. Okay, so I hope you are able to follow the lectures. अगर आप lecture को follow किए होंगे, then you might be able to solve this particular question. If you haven't watched the video lecture series जो मैं vectors और 3D geometry का concept में लिया था, you have to go back to the description box. Description box में जाओ, I have provided the playlist link. Okay, उस playlist link को click करके आप सारे videos को line by line देखते चालू करो, ठीक है. So once you are done with the concepts, then try to solve these questions, and this question will be simply very easy, okay, to solve on your own. I hope you are clear with this discussion. Okay, so let us move on to the second question. Okay, so if I talk in this question, so this question basically talks about a triangle. Okay, basically they are saying that there are the two vertices of a triangle ABC are given as this and this. Okay, and its centroid is given. We already seen what is basically centroid. Centroid is basically the point of intersection of all the medians. So the point of intersection of all the medians is basically known as centroid point, and we know how to calculate the centroid point. If we label this point as A point as 2, 4, 6, and this is C and this is B, and B point is labeled as 0, minus 2, minus of 5, and let me assume C point some alpha, beta, gamma, and we are given with the coordinate of the point centroid. So centroid का जो coordinate है, that is basically given as 2, 1, minus 1. And we already have studied from the simple basic discussion of 3D geometry, the first lecture. ठीक है, अगर आप first lecture देखोगे, then I have covered the centroid जो point है, basically the summation of all the points divided by 3, summation of all the y coordinate divided by 3, and summation of all the z coordinate divided by 3. ठीक है, so in this fashion you have to basically calculate the centroid, and centroid is given out as 2, 1, minus of 1. So from here if I try to equate, for the first condition I will get alpha plus 2 divided by 3 is basically equal to 2. So from here I will get alpha as 4. ठीक है, so यहाँ से मुझे alpha का value 4 मिल गया. For the second, that means the y coordinate, I try to eliminate, that is basically 2 plus gamma divided by 3 is equal to 1. So from here I will get gamma as 1. Okay, so यहाँ से gamma का value 1 मिल गया. And for the third condition, if I try to solve the third condition, that is basically gamma plus 1 divided by 3 is equal to minus of 1, I will get gamma as minus of 4. So from here I got the coordinate of all the coordinate of point C. So C point में जो coordinate बनने वाला है, that is basically 4, 1, minus 4. ठीक है, तो C point का coordinate हमको यहाँ से मिल चुका होगा. ठीक है, और क्वेश्चन में आगे बोला है कि दे है. Okay, so if you talk about the next part of the question, it says that if the image of the third vertex, that means the vertex C, because we assume the third vertex C, okay, the third vertex in the plane x plus 2y plus 4z is equal to 11 is basically equal to alpha, beta, gamma. Okay, so if I talk about the image, okay, so we have already studied by the concept of image on a plane. So if this is a plane which is talked about in the question as x plus 2y plus 4z is equal to 11. Okay, x plus 2y plus 4z is equal to 11, and we want to find the image of the point C, that means the third vertex, that is 4, 1, minus 4 on this particular plane. So this point will be, okay, and the reflection point is said as something as, let me assume that this point is D, and it has coordinate alpha, beta, gamma. We already know how to solve this particular concept of image. Now we have studied whenever we have to solve for image, we have to subtract basically alpha minus x1, that is basically 4, whole divided by the coefficient of x, that is 1, is equal to beta minus of 1, that means the y coordinate, divided by the coefficient of y in the plane is equal to gamma minus of minus 4, that is plus 4, divided by 4 is equal to minus 2 times of, and you have to put this particular point on this particular plane and divide by the square of this all the coefficient. That means 4 plus 2 and minus of 16 minus of 11, okay, and whole divided by the square values of this particular coefficient, that is 1 square plus 2 square, that is 4, 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 16 is equal to 21. So from here you will get डिवाइडेड बाई 21, ठीक है। सो यहाँ से इफ आई सॉल्व फॉर ऑल दिस कंडीशन दैट इज अल्फा माइनस 4/1 इज इक्वल टू, एंड दिस पर्टिकुलर कंडीशन इज बेसिकली हाउ मच, दिस plus 6, okay, plus 6 and minus 16 is basically minus of 10, and minus of 11 is basically minus of 21, so it will be cancelling out as minus 1. So from here I will get the result as 2. So alpha का वैल्यू यहाँ से मुझे मिलेगा 6, okay. So from here I got the alpha value as 6, and if I solve for beta I'll get beta minus 1 divided by 2 is equal to 2. So from here I will get beta as, this is beta as 5, okay. So from here I will get beta as 5, and for gamma plus 4 divided by 4 is equal to 2. So from here I will get gamma as okay, gamma as 4, ठीक है। तो यहाँ से मुझे अल्फा बीटा और गामा, दैट मीन्स द इमेज ऑफ द थर्ड वर्टेक्स मिल चुका है एज 6, 5, 4, ओके। सो आई गॉट द वैल्यू ऑफ अल्फा एज 6, बीटा एज 5 एंड गामा एज 4, ओके। So this is 6, 5, 4, that means alpha is 6, beta is 5 and gamma is 4. So from here I have to calculate this particular result, that is alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha. So alpha beta is equal to 30 plus beta gamma is equal to 20 and gamma alpha is equal to 24. So from here I will get the result as 74. So with this, the correct answer to this question is basically option number B. I hope you are able to solve this particular question on your own. This is pretty simple question. These types of questions are basically coming up in JEE Mains. Okay, so only thing you have to worry about is basically the calculations. Don't get mistaken in the calculations, and unless and otherwise there is no mistake in the calculations, you will definitely get +4 in this particular questions. तो काफ़ी सिंपल टाइप का क्वेश्चन था, और इसको आपको प्रैक्टिस करना चाहिए ऐसा टाइप का क्वेश्चन, ठीक है। काफ़ी ज़्यादा मैं क्वेश्चन लेने वाला हूँ इन द अपकमिंग लेक्चर्स एज वेल, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so let us move to the third question, and if I talk about the third question, it talks about, so the third question says there is a point P which is basically formed by the intersection of this line on this particular plane. So we have already talked about how to calculate a random point on this line and then satisfy in the plane in order to get the random point on this line, ठीक है। तो सबसे पहले अगर कोई लाइन पे पॉइंट है दैट इज P एंड दिस P पॉइंट ऑल्सो लाइज ऑन द प्लेन, सो लाइन पे अगर कोई पॉइंट है तो उसको पैरामीट्रिक फॉर्म में एज्यूम करना है। तो सबसे पहले उस पॉइंट को अगर पैरामीट्रिक फॉर्म में एज्यूम करता है, दैट मीन्स इक्वल दिस लाइन टू इक्वल टू लैम्डा। तो यहाँ से मुझे लाइन का P पॉइंट का कोऑर्डिनेट मुझे ऐसे मिलेगा, ठीक है, दैट इज 3 लैम्डा माइनस 3 कॉमा लैम्डा माइनस 2, ओके, दिस विल बी लैम्डा माइनस ऑफ 2, okay, lambda minus of 2, and this will be 2 lambda, okay. So if I take this on this particular side, it will be minus of 2 lambda, okay, because I am taking negative common out, so z minus 1 divided by minus 2, so minus 2 lambda plus of 1, okay. So this will be the point which basically the point which lies on this both the lines as well as the plane, that is the point of intersection of the line and the plane. That means if I satisfy this particular point on the equation of the plane, that is x plus y plus z is equal to 2, I will get the value of the lambda. So यहाँ से अगर मैं solve कर देखता हूँ, I'll get from here I'll get the value of lambda as, so if you see this is 4 lambda minus 2 lambda is 2 lambda, okay, minus 3 minus 2, that is minus of 5 plus of 1, so minus of 4, and if I take on the right hand side it will be minus of, and this will be 6. So यहाँ से मुझे lambda का वैल्यू 3 मिल जाएगा, ठीक है। So यहाँ से I am getting the value of lambda as 3. So from if I get the value of lambda as 3, so I will be in a position to calculate the coordinate of point P. So if I put this lambda value in the coordinate, so I will get as first x coordinate as 6, and for the second I will get a 1, and for the third I will get as minus 6 plus 1, that is minus of 5, ठीक है। तो यहाँ से मुझे P पॉइंट का पॉइंट्स कोऑर्डिनेट मिल चुका है। क्वेश्चन में पूछा है कि what if the distance of the point from this particular plane, कोई और दूसरा प्लेन है जिस P का अगर डिस्टेंस उस पॉइंट से is basically small q, then it is asking us q and 2q are basically roots of which of the following equation, okay. So काफ़ी सिंपल टाइप क्वेश्चन है, ठीक है, जस्ट ओनली आर बेसिकली हैव टू कैलकुलेट, ठीक है। तो वी ऑलरेडी स्टार्टेड बाय द डिस्टेंस फार्मूला दैट हाउ टू कैलकुलेट डिस्टेंस ऑफ अ पॉइंट ऑफ अ कोऑर्डिनेट पॉइंट फ्रॉम अ प्लेन, ओके। सो यहाँ से मैं अगर डिस्टेंस फार्मूला लगाता हूँ, दैट मीन्स मॉडुलस वैल्यू ऑफ, ओके, okay. So from here q value will be modulus of, put this particular point in the equation of plane, so the plane equation is 3x minus 4y plus 12z minus of 32 is equal to 0, ठीक है। this is the basically the equation of the that plane, okay. So यहाँ से मैं अगर p point को इस particular plane पे put करता हूँ, so I will get as 18, and this will be minus of 4, and this will be minus of 60, okay, minus of 60 and minus of 32, and whole divided by root under 3 square, that is 9 plus 4 square is 16, so 9 plus 16 is 25, and 25 plus 144 is basically 169, okay. So from here if you calculate for q, इफ़ यू कैलकुलेट फॉर वैल्यू ऑफ क्यू, सो क्यू यहाँ से मिलेगा मुझे, दैट मीन्स -60 and -4 is basically -64, and 64 plus 32 is equal to 96, and 96, if I subtract 18 from 96, I will get as 78. Okay, so from here I get 78 divided by 13. Okay, so this is 78 divided by 13 modulus. Okay, so from here the result will be basically equal to 6. ठीक है, तो मुझे q का value is basically equal to 6 because 13 6 जा 78. Okay, so from here I got the value as 6. Okay, so if q is 6, then the 2q is basically equal to 12, and if it is said that q and 2q basically are the roots of the equation, so we know how to form the quadratic equation by these two particular roots. I will get as x square minus summation of the roots. Summation of the roots is summation of the roots. So if I calculate for the summation of the root, it will be 18x, and plus this is product of the roots, that is basically equal to 72 times equal to 0. So from here I will get to the equation of the quadratic equation which has roots as q and 2q as its roots. Okay, so which roots as q and 2q is basically x square minus 18x plus 72 is equal to 0 are the quadratic equation which is formed from q and 2q as the equation. So with this I got to the correct answer to the option is basically option number D. So from here you see that x square minus 18x plus 72 is equal to 0. This is the right answer to the question. I hope you are able to solve this particular question on your own. It was pretty simple question. Okay, कुछ नहीं है, just only have to know the concepts and have to apply accordingly. अगर आप calculation में कोई mistake नहीं करते हो, then you will get to the answer correctly. Okay, so you have to you are basically in a position to basically solve this types of question easily. ठीक है, so this is also a JEE Mains question, and you are basically seeing that how easy questions are basically coming up for 3D geometry for the JEE Mains. Okay, so with this you are basically adding on confidence for your exam purpose. Okay, so let us move to the fourth question. Okay, so the fourth question is also an interesting question. So if I try to read this question, it says that there are basically two values a and b which basically belongs to integer. Okay, so and it is also said that a minus b modulus mod of a minus b is basically less than or equal to 10. Okay, so यहाँ से मुझे a b पे condition दे रखा है, and it is said that if the angle between the plane ax plus y minus of z is equal to b, and this particular line is given out as cos inverse of 1 by 3. So from here you have to calculate what is the distance. If the distance of the point from the plane is given as this particular value, then you have to calculate for this particular unknown values. ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले अगर मैं देखूँ the line दे रखा है that is basically formed by the intersection of two planes. If you see at the lines, it is formed by the so no sorry, my mistake. So line equation is given in the symmetrical format. Okay, I am very sorry, I didn't see up that. Okay, so the equation of line is basically given in the symmetrical format as x minus 1 by 1 is equal to y minus a by minus 1 is equal to z plus 1 by 1. ठीक है, तो यहाँ से मुझे लाइन का इक्वेशन मिल चुका है, एंड आई एम ऑल्सो गिवन विद द इक्वेशन ऑफ द प्लेन. ठीक है, तो वी ऑलरेडी नो हाउ टू सॉल्व दिस टाइप्स ऑफ क्वेश्चन, बट इंस्टेड ऑफ टेकिंग cos थीटा वी विल डू द डॉट प्रोडक्ट, बट द एंगल दैट बेसिकली द नॉर्मल वेक्टर of this particular plane makes with the line is basically pi by 2 minus of that theta. Okay, so if it is a line vector, okay, so this particular angle is the required angle, that is theta, so it is given out as cos inverse of 1 by 3. Okay, so if it is given out as cos inverse of 1 by 3, so that is theta, so from here I will calculate the value of cos theta as 1 by 3. Okay, so if I get the value of cos theta as 1 by 3, so I will be firstly calculating the value of sin theta. Sin theta value will be 1 minus 1 by 9, so from here I will get the value of sin theta as टू रूट टू बाई 3. ठीक है, तो साइन थीटा का वैल्यू मुझे 2 रूट 2 बाई 3 मिल चुका है, एंड दिस पर्टिकुलर एंगल इज बेसिकली पाई बाई 2 माइनस ऑफ थीटा. सो इफ आई कंप्यूट फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर एंगल देन इज कॉस ऑफ पाई बाई 2 minus theta is eventually equal to sin theta. So if I solve for the dot product, that I will eventually ending up getting sin theta, because cos of pi by 2 minus theta is equal to sin theta. So this will be equal to n vector dot l vector divided by modulus of n vector into modulus of l vector. ठीक है, so यहाँ से मैं अगर sin theta के लिए सॉल्व करता हूँ, if I solve for sin theta, I will get as, because we have the n vector as, okay, for the plane the n vector is basically ai cap plus j cap माइनस ऑफ के कैप. ठीक है, सो यहाँ से मुझे एन वेक्टर दैट इज नॉर्मल वेक्टर मुझे मिल चुका होगा. सो इफ आई कंप्यूट द डॉट प्रोडक्ट फॉर एंड द लाइन का जो वेक्टर है दैट इज 1, सो इफ आई सी द लाइन वेक्टर दैट इज बेसिकली आई कैप माइनस जे कैप प्लस ऑफ के कैप. ठीक है, तो इस दोनों का अगर मैं क्रॉस डॉट प्रोडक्ट लेता हूँ दैट इज बेसिकली 1 माइनस 1 एंड माइनस 1. ओके, तो यहाँ से मुझे मिलेगा a minus 2. Okay, and from the dot product I will get a minus 2, and if I compute for this magnitude value, this magnitude will be root 3 and this magnitude value will be a square plus 2. Okay, so root 3 into root of a square plus 2. ठीक है, so यहाँ से मुझे दो वैल्यूज मिल चुका होगा, and sin theta value is basically equal to 2 root 2 by 3. ठीक है, 2 root 2 by 3. And if I solve for this particular unknown condition, that is a minus 2 divided by root under a square plus of 2 is equal to 2 root 2 by root of 3, because if I take this root 3 on this particular side and if I cancel out, I will get root 3 in the denominator. So let me square both the sides. Okay, so if I square for both the sides, I will get a square, okay, a square plus 4 minus of 4 times of a, ठीक है, divided by a square plus of 2, okay, a square plus of 2 is equal to, this will be 8 by 3, ठीक है. Now if I cross multiply both the sides, that is 3a square plus 12 minus of 12 times of a is equal to 8a square plus of 16. So यहाँ से मैं अगर solve करता हूँ, I will get a quadratic equation that is equal to 5a square, okay, and plus of 12a, and if I solve this will be plus of 4 is equal to 0. ठीक है, so यहाँ से मुझे this will be 20, okay, and the result for 20, okay, so the product of the roots will be, the product of these two is basically equal to 20, and if I factorize this by prime factorization, okay, so for 20 I can factorize it as 10 and 2. So from here I will get an a square plus 10a plus of 2a plus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, so I will get the roots as, if I take 5a common from here, I will get a plus 2, and similarly I will get plus 2 common from here, then a plus 2 is equal to 0. So I will get the roots as 5a plus 2, and the other factor will basically a plus 2 is equal to 0. So the roots for a is basically equal to minus of 2 by 5 and minus of 2. Now since a and b both are basically integral values, that is integer values, so this particular can never be the solution for a. Okay, so a is basically equal to minus 2. Okay, so अगर a का value minus 2 है, okay, so if value of a is equal to minus 2, okay, if the value of a is basically equal to minus 2, what can be the possible values of b? ठीक है, so अगर मैं देखता हूँ इन दोनों का मॉडुलस वैल्यू इज बेसिक a माइनस b, जो वैल्यू है दैट इज बेसिकली लाइंग बिटवीन -10 से 10 के बीच में. सो a का वैल्यू अगर -2 है, सो a इज बेसिकली -2, देन दिस पर्टिकुलर रेंज विल बी like this. And if I solve for this range, if I add 2 on both the sides, I get with this relation. And if I take negative, if I multiply with the negative side, then I will get this particular relation, that is this, that is b का जो range मिलेगा that is -12 से लेकर 8 तक आएगा. And also it is said in the question, it is the distance of the point, this particular point from the plane, from this particular plane is 3 root 6. So और एक क्वेश्चन में और एक चीज़ बोला गया है, that is basically the distance of this point 6, -6, 4 from this particular plane ax plus y minus z is equal to b is given as 3 root 6. So if I solve for that values, okay, I am trying to solve from here, I will use this particular space. Okay, the point is basically 6, -6, 4, and the plane is ax minus y, okay, ax plus y minus z minus of b is equal to 0. So if I put this, if I find the value, the distance is basically 3 root 6, and for the distance formula I'll use it. So if I put this point on this particular plane, it will be 6a, okay, minus of 6 minus of 4, that is minus of 10, that makes a minus of 10, okay, minus of 10. And if I solve for minus of 10 and minus of b over here divided by root under of a square plus of 2, and we know the value of a square is basically -2, so from here a square will be 4, so 4 plus root 2, 4 plus 2 is basically root 6. So if I cross multiply root 6, this will be 3 into 6 is basically 18, and a is -2, so 6 into -2 -12 -10, and minus of b is come modulus, so is equal to 18. So if I remove the modulus, it will be basically I have to basically take encounter for both the plus minus, or you can do one thing, that is basically take the minus sign common, or you can do plus minus in both the sides. Okay, so from here I will get the relation of for b as -22 minus of b is basically equal to plus minus 18. ठीक है, so यहाँ से मुझे b का 2 वैल्यू मिल चुका होगा. तो b का अगर मैं वैल्यू सॉल्व करूँ इस पर्टिकुलर केस में सॉल्व करने के देखता हूँ फर्स्ट केस में, so if I solve for plus of 18, this will be b value will come out something as -22 and minus of 18. Okay, and also if I solve for the negative case, I will get -22 plus of 18. So -22 plus of 18 is basically minus of 4, and in this particular case I will get as minus of, so this will be if it comes 42 and 2 is less, so it will be minus of 40. Okay, so if I see for minus 4, if I put, because we know that b का जो range आने वाला है that is basically 8 से लेकर -12 के बीच में, so if I have the range of b from if I have the range of b from 8 to -12, I get the value of b as minus of 4. So यहाँ से मुझे b का वैल्यू मिलेगा -4. सो इफ आई सॉल्व फॉर a स्क्वायर प्लस b स्क्वायर a की पावर 4 प्लस b स्क्वायर, आई विल गेट द रिजल्ट एज a is basically -2, so a -2 की होल की पावर 4 is 16 प्लस and b का वैल्यू is -4 प्लस square is basically 16, so this result will sum up to 32. So with this I will get the correct answer, is basically option number C. I hope this particular discussion was clear. This is again a pretty simple question. Okay, so this was also a JEE Mains question. So let's move to the fifth question. So यहाँ से fifth question अगर देखते हैं, so the question talks about that there is a point P which is basically, so there is not a point P, this is a plane P, okay, which basically a plane which passes through the lines, this line and the point this. Okay, so it is a plane which contains this particular line as well as the point this. So in order to solve for the equation of the plane, in order to get to the equation of this particular plane P, we need two general information, that is basically the normal vector of this plane and any other point which lies on the plane. So for the point, I have a point and let that point be a point. So that is 2, 4, -3 which lies on this particular plane, and also this line, and this line is a vector which is directed along 1, -3, 7. This is the direction ratio of the vector which is directed on the line, and any point on this particular line, let it be point P, B. So there is 1, 2, -5. Okay, so यहाँ से मुझे दो वेक्टर ऐसे मिल जाएगा कि मैं दो पॉइंट्स को ज्वाइन करते एक वेक्टर बना लूँ और एक लाइन के अलॉन्ग वेक्टर मिल जाएगा. तो यहाँ से मैं दोनों वेक्टर का क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट लेता हूँ, so I will get the normal vector, and I also already have a point which basically lies in this plane. So from here I will get to the equation of the plane. Firstly, let us solve for n vector as the line vector cross this AB vector or BA vector. Okay, any one of them. So if I solve for BA vector, okay, so if I try to solve BA vector, let me solve for BA vector. Okay, so if I try to solve for BA vector, I will get it as I cap, okay, plus 2 times of j cap, okay, -3 plus of 5 plus of 2 times of k cap. ठीक है, तो यहाँ से मुझे BA vector मिल गया ऐसे कुछ. So let me compute the cross product for this n vector as by the determinant method. Okay, so if I try to solve by the determinant method, the 1, 3, 7, and this will be 1, 2 and 2 over here. So if I compute this determinant along the first row, I will get it as minus of 6, minus of 14, this will be minus of 20, minus j cap times of 2 minus 7, that is minus of 5, and plus k cap times of that is 2 minus of 3, that is plus of 5. So from here I will get the n vector, and if I try to write this n vector in terms of direction ratios, if I take minus of 5 common, I will get as 4, 1, -1 if I take -5 common. Okay, so this is in the form of direction ratios. So the direction ratio of this particular normal vector to the plane is basically 4, 1, -1. So यहाँ से I will in a position to write the equation of the plane as 4x plus y minus of z is equal to, now for equality condition, let me put this particular point on this particular equation, that is 8 plus 4, that makes up 12 minus of -3, that makes up plus of 3, the 12 plus 3 is basically equal to 15. So from here I see the equation of the plane P is given out as 4x plus y minus z is equal to 15. Now let us check the validity of this particular point. So if I try to take the dot product with the line vector, so I will get it 0. Let me check for that. Okay, so if I compute, that is 4 into 1, 4 minus 3, that is 1, and 1 plus 7, so that makes up, so from there I am getting the result. Okay, that is not 0, so maybe I had done some mistake. Okay, so that makes up a mistake over here. So let me try to eliminate that mistake. Okay, so what is the mistake? So let me check for the B point whether it lies on this line or not. So that is 4 into 1, 4 plus 2, that is 6, and 6 plus 5 is basically equal to 11. So that doesn't make up 15. That means this particular point is not lying on this particular plane. So that means there is a mistake in this particular equation of plane. Okay, that means there is a mistake in this particular equation of plane. Okay, so let me try for checking the questions. Okay, so यहाँ से अगर मैं क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट का सॉल्व करके देखता हूँ, दैट फ्रॉम हियर लेट मी चेक फॉर द वेक्टर. सो वेक्टर जो मैंने बनाया था, दैट इज 2 minus 1, दैट इज आई कैप प्लस ऑफ 2 times of j cap and -3 minus of -5, that is plus of 2 times of k cap. Okay, so ये तो सही है. Okay, so let me solve for the cross product. So that is 1 -3 7 and 1 2 and 2. So if I try to compute it on the first row, it will be I cap times of, that is this makes up -6 and minus of 14, this makes up -20. Okay, so I have done this right only. Okay, and for the second one it will be I cap j cap times of 2 minus 5, that makes up minus of 5. Okay, So and for the third k cap times it will be 2 minus or minus 3, that is plus of 5. Okay, so यहाँ से I have already calculated. Okay, so this is correct only. So if I try for taking the dot product, okay, so taking the dot product with 1 comma 3 minus 3 comma 7, that makes up minus 20. Okay, that makes up minus 20 minus 15 minus 15 plus 35. Okay, so that is correct. Okay, so it is eventually correct. That means this is a correct equation only. So that the correct equation is basically including these particular points. Okay, so this is correct only. Okay, basically comes the result is 0 only. Okay, so I have done it correctly. Okay, so let me check for the b point. So whether the b point basically lies in this particular equation of plane. So the b point lies in this particular equation. So let me check for that. That is minus of 20. Okay, minus of 20 plus of 10 and this is minus of 25. Okay, so minus of 25. So this will be making up minus 45 plus 10, that is minus of 35. That means this particular point is equal to 35. So if I multiply it by 5, so that means it is better to take out all these particular equations as well. Okay, that means you can write this particular equation of plane also as minus 20 times of x, okay, plus 5 times of y and plus 5z, okay, not k, so sorry for that. So this is correct only. Okay, so that was cross checking. So 5 times z is equal to, so for equality condition I have to put, basically I got this result incorrect. Basically I made a mistake in the sign. Okay, so I took a sign mistake, that this is minus 1 over here. Okay, so that was the only mistake that I made from my side. Okay, so if you look for this will be minus of y. Okay, that was the only mistake that I made over here, that is minus of y. So you can see that how a small mistake can affect the entire problem. Okay, so I was basically checking for entire thing. So let me put for 2, 4 and minus 3. So this will be 8 minus 4 is 4 and 4 plus 3 is basically equal to 7. So that means this is basically equal to, this is equal to 7. Okay, this is equal to 7. So if I check for point B, that is 4 minus 2, this is 2 and okay, it is coming, and plus of 5 is basically equal to 7. So this is coming. Okay, so this is the equation of the plane, which is basically 4x minus y minus z is equal to 7. So that was the only mistake that you have to encounter, that I made mistake. Okay, so it is said that there is a point, okay, for this particular plane P. Okay, so the plane equation is 4x minus y minus z is equal to 7. So for this plane they have a point, so let that point be some point x, and that point has a coordinate minus 1 comma 3 comma 4, and its image in this particular plane is given as alpha comma beta comma gamma. Okay, so you have to calculate for the alpha, beta and gamma. So let me solve by the concept of image. That will be alpha plus 1 divided by 4 is equal to beta minus 3 divided by minus 1 is equal to gamma minus 4 divided by minus 1 is equal to minus 2 times of, then I have to put this particular point on this particular equation of plane, that is minus 4, okay, minus 3 minus 4 minus 3 minus 4 minus of 7 and whole divided by squares of this coefficient. So this is 16 plus 1 plus 1, this is basically 18. Okay, so this sum makes up minus 7 is basically minus 7 and minus 7 minus 14 minus 4, and it makes up minus 18. So this basically quantity get cancelled out with minus 18 as, so this quantity cancel out as 1. Okay, so this will be 1, this will be 1 times over here. So from here I get the value of alpha plus 1 divided by 4 is equal to minus of 2. So from here alpha is basically minus 8 minus 1 is minus 9. Okay, and for the second value, that is beta minus 3 is equal to minus 2 into minus 1, that is makes up 2. So that is 2. So from here I get the value of beta as 5, and similarly for gamma, that is gamma minus 4 is equal to 2. So gamma is basically equal to 6. Okay, so यहाँ से मुझे अल्फा बीटा गामा का वैल्यू मिल चुका है, दैट इज minus 9,5,6. Okay, so I got the value of point P. Okay, sorry, not the point, the point of the image, the coordinate of image. Okay, so the coordinate of image is basically minus 9,5,6. Okay, so this is the coordinate of image, and we have to basically find the sum of alpha, beta and gamma. If this is alpha, beta and gamma, so if I take the sum, this sum will be coming out as, so the sum is coming out as 2. Okay, so maybe I had done again a mistake. Okay, so I have to check for the mistake again. All right, so from here if I see, this is basically 4 into minus 2, so 4 into minus 2 is minus 8, and alpha minus 8 minus 1 is minus 9. Okay, so this is minus 9. All right, so minus 9, and for this particular value it will be beta minus 3 is equal to 2 and beta is equal to 5. Okay, so 5, I got 5, and similarly this beta gamma minus So okay, a mistake. No mistake. Okay, so gamma minus 4 divided by minus 1 is equal to minus 2. So for that I will get gamma minus 4 is equal to 2. So from here gamma is equal to 6. Okay, so I guess I haven't done any mistake. Maybe I done a mistake maybe in the point. Okay, so that is also correct. All right, for this particular solution it is also correct, right? So let me check whether this midpoint of this particular both the points basically lies on this particular plane or not. So from here I will be getting sure of that coordinates. Okay, so if I solve for the cross check the values, minus 9 and minus 1 is basically minus 10 by that means the midpoint is basically minus 5 comma, so 3 plus there is 4, 3 plus 5 is 8, 8 divided by 2 is basically 4, and 4 plus 6 10 and 5. So this particular point whether lies on this particular plane or not, let me check for that. Okay, so if I put in, this will be minus 20 minus 4, so this is again, and this will be okay plus 5, so this is minus of 5 is equal to 7 or not. Okay, so if you check from here, this is basically minus 20 minus 9 is not equal to 7. Okay, so that means that this particular midpoint doesn't lie, that means this particular point image is a wrong. Okay, so I have, maybe I did a mistake again. Okay, so I have to check for the mistake. I have to check for the mistake again over here. Okay, so that's okay. So this will be 4x minus y minus z is equal to 7. Okay, so let me solve for any mistakes over here. Okay, in the question, so this will basically, if you put these points on this particular lines, okay, on this particular equation of plane, that is minus 1 comma 3 comma 4. So if the image of a point, if the image of the point in the question, it says if the image of the point, if the image of the point minus 1 comma 3 comma 4 in this plane P is equal to alpha comma beta comma gamma, so from there I have to find the sum of alpha, beta and gamma. So what is the mistake? Okay, so I am not able to find the mistake from my side. Let me check again. So this particular point is minus 1 comma 3 comma 4. Okay, minus 1 comma 3 comma 4, and if it is the image point, then I have to apply the concept as alpha plus 1 divided by 4 is equal to beta minus 3 divided by minus 1 is equal to gamma minus 4 divided by minus 1 is equal to minus 2 times of, I have to put this particular point on this equation of plane. So from here I will get as minus 4 minus 3 minus 4 and minus 7 whole divided by square root values of these values. So square values is 18 again. Oh, okay, so I got the mistake is basically, okay, so from here the mistake is basically not 1, it is basically equal to minus 1. That's a very lame mistake from my side. Again, I am very sorry for that. Okay, so this is basically equal to minus 1, so that makes up this plus of 2. Okay, so this will be basically 8 minus 1 is basically equal, alpha is equal to 7. Okay, so this is all mistakes from my sides. I am very sorry for these mistakes. Okay, maybe I was out of mind. Okay, so that makes up alpha is 7, and for beta is basically equal to minus 2 plus 3 is 1, and gamma is equal to minus 2 and plus 4 is basically equal to plus 3. So alpha, beta and gamma, if I sum up them, I will get the value as plus of 11. So that means the coordinate point that I was looking for is basically 7 comma minus 1 comma 3. So 7 comma, so the coordinate point is 7 of the image is basically 7 comma 1 comma 3. Okay, so if I sum up all the coordinates, I will get the value result as 11. So from here the right answer to the question is basically D. So you saw that how a small mistake can definitely ruin your entire problem, that you have to basically check for where is the mistake and you have to eliminate that particular thing. Okay, so I hope you won't be able to do this particular mistakes, but you have to be in very much in good practice so that you are basically able to solve this question in one go and you are getting the answer correctly also. Okay, so that was a mistake from my side. I have tried to eliminate those mistakes and I have checked again and cross checked and I got to the results. Okay, so I hope you will take that particular thing in mind. Okay, so that was basically very careless mistake of my, okay, that was not taking minus over here. Okay, so you will are basically in a position to basically encounter all these mistakes, okay, by only practicing. तो प्रैक्टिस करते रहना, ठीक है, तभी आपका ये मिस्टेक्स और सिली मिस्टेक जो होने वाला है वो आपका एलिमिनेट होता रहेगा. ठीक है, तो साथ ही साथ लेट्स मूव टू द सिक्स्थ क्वेश्चन. सो द सिक्स्थ क्वेश्चन इज ऑल्सो अ गुड क्वेश्चन. So if we talk about the sixth question, okay, the sixth question over here is basically talking about there is an equation of the plane which containing this particular line. Okay, so there is an equation which contains this line. Okay, so that means basically this is a family of planes का क्वेश्चन है, ठीक है। तो दो प्लेन्स का इंटरसेक्शन से एक लाइन बनता है और उसी लाइन को कंटेन करते कोई प्लेन बनाना है, दैट इज फॉर्म्ड बाय द इक्वेशन ऑफ प्लेन, फैमिली ऑफ प्लेन्स, ओके। So if I have to see this is the equation of the plane, that unknown plane. So let me write the unknown plane as P. So the equation of that unknown plane will be basically in some parametric is basically equal to x plus 2y plus 3z minus of 4 plus lambda times of 2x plus y minus of z plus 5 whole equal to 0. So from here I got the first equation of the plane, and it is also said in the question, that the second equation of plane is given out in the form of वेक्टर इक्वेशन, ओके। सो दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन बिकॉज काफ़ी बच्चे तो ये एग्जाम में ये ऐसा इक्वेशन देख के घबरा जाएंगे, दैट इज बेसिकली ए वेक्टर प्लस लैम्डा टाइम्स ऑफ बी वेक्टर, ओके, प्लस म्यू टाइम्स ऑफ सी वेक्टर, ठीक है। तो मैंने ऑलरेडी आई हैव कवर्ड इन माय लेक्चर्स, अगर आप मैंने लेक्चर्स को फॉलो किए होंगे, इन द वेरी फर्स्ट लेक्चर्स ऑफ द इक्वेशन ऑफ प्लेन्स आई हैव ऑलरेडी कवर्ड द टॉपिक कि आप जब इक्वेशन ऑफ प्लेन को पैरामेट्रिक फॉर्म में इन वेक्टर इक्वेशन में कैसे रिप्रेजेंट करोगे, दैट इज बेसिकली दिस पर्टिकुलर इक्वेशन, okay। So where b and c vector basically represent two vectors on this particular plane, okay, दो vector on this particular plane जिसका क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट से आपको नॉर्मल वेक्टर मिलेगा, and a vector is basically the position vector of a point which lies on this particular plane, ठीक है। तो यहाँ से मुझे नॉर्मल वेक्टर निकालने के लिए इन दोनों वेक्टर का क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट लेना पड़ेगा। सो इफ आई सी द इक्वेशन ऑफ द अदर इक्वेशन ऑफ प्लेन इज बेसिकली आई कैप माइनस जे कैप प्लस लैम्डा टाइम्स ऑफ आई कैप प्लस जे कैप प्लस के कैप प्लस म्यू टाइम्स ऑफ आई कैप माइनस 2j कैप एंड प्लस ऑफ 3k कैप, ठीक है। तो यहाँ से माई फर्स्ट टास्क इज बेसिकली टू कैलकुलेट द नॉर्मल वेक्टर। सो मैं पहले इस प्लेन का नॉर्मल वेक्टर का कैलकुलेट कर लेता हूँ, ओके। सो इफ आई कैलकुलेट द नॉर्मल वेक्टर ऑफ पर्टिकुलर प्लेन, दैट इज 1 over here, and this is 1 minus 2 and minus 3 over here. I hope you are basically able to solve these things on your own, okay। So from here if I expand in the first row, I will get it as 3 minus of minus 2, that is plus of 5 minus j cap times of 3 minus 1 is basically equal to 2, and plus k cap times of minus 2 minus 1 is basically equal to minus of 3, ठीक है। तो यहाँ से मुझे नॉर्मल वेक्टर मिल चुका होगा, एंड इट इज सेड दैट दिस पर्टिकुलर पी प्लेन इज परपेंडिकुलर टू दिस प्लेन, मतलब इन दोनों प्लेन का अगर मैं डॉट प्रोडक्ट लेता हूँ, अगर नॉर्मल वेक्टर का डॉट प्रोडक्ट लेता हूँ, आई विल गेट द रिजल्ट एज 0। सो इफ आई टॉक फॉर द पी प्लेन, ओके, तो पी प्लेन का अगर मैं मतलब डायरेक्शन रेशियो को लिखने के लिए सबसे पहले तो एक्स कोऑर्डिनेट और एक्स कोफिशिएंट, वाई कोफिशिएंट और जेड कोफिशिएंट को एक साथ मैं लिखना चाहता हूँ। सो फ्रॉम हियर आई विल राइट इट एज 1 plus 2 lambda plus y times of, this will be 2 plus lambda plus z times of 3 plus 3 minus lambda, okay, minus 4 plus of 4 lambda, so minus 4 plus of 5 lambda, okay, not 4 lambda, 5 lambda, ठीक है, इज इक्वल टू 0, ठीक है। दिस इज द इक्वेशन ऑफ पी प्लेन। तो यहाँ से दिस पर्टिकुलर कोफिशिएंट बेसिकली रिप्रेजेंट द डायरेक्शन रेशियोज ऑफ द नॉर्मल वेक्टर टू दिस पर्टिकुलर प्लेन, एंड वी नो दैट बोथ द प्लेन्स आर बेसिकली परपेंडिकुलर टू ईच अदर, दैट मीन्स देयर नॉर्मल वेक्टर विल हैव द डॉट प्रोडक्ट इज इक्वल टू 0, ठीक है। तो यहाँ से इफ आई सॉल्व फॉर द डॉट प्रोडक्ट वैल्यू, दैट इज 1 plus 2 lambda multiplied by 5, okay, plus 2 plus lambda multiplied with minus of 2, and plus 3 minus lambda multiplied with minus of 3 is equal to 0. So यहाँ से मैं सॉल्व करता हूँ, I will get the value of the lambda. So this will be 5 plus 10 lambda, okay, 5 plus 10 lambda minus of 4 minus of 2 lambda, and this will be minus of 9 plus of 3 lambda is equal to 0, okay. So यहाँ से if I solve for lambda, I'll get it as, okay, this is 1 and this will be 11 lambda, and for this particular this is minus of 5 minus 4 is basically 1, so 1 minus 9 is basically equal to minus of 10 is equal to 0. So from here I get the value of lambda as 10 by 11, ठीक है। तो यहाँ से मुझे lambda का जो वैल्यू मिल रहा है, that is basically 10 by 11, okay. And it is also said that particular p equation of the plane is equal to ax plus by plus cz is equal to 4, ठीक है। तो यहाँ से मैं अगर lambda का वैल्यू 10 by 11 अगर पुट कर देता हूँ, now before solving for 10 by 11, let me check whether the 10 by 11 is correct or not, okay. Okay, because maybe I have done some mistakes, okay, might be there is a mistake, so let me check for that, okay. So alright, so I guess there is no mistake from my side, and if I put the value of lambda back into this original equation, I will get the values as, so this will be, if I put the lambda as 11 by 10, so the lambda is 10 by 11, sorry, so that means 10 over here and 11 multiplied with here, so it will be, the equation of this particular plane will be 10 by 11, okay. So this will be 10 multiplied with this particular equation and 11 multiplied with this particular equation, that means 10 into 2x plus y minus z plus 5 plus 11x plus 22y, okay, plus 33z minus 44 is equal to 0. So यहाँ से मैं अगर सॉल्व करके देखता हूँ, दैट इज तो यहाँ से 20x और यहाँ से 11x, so 20x plus 11x makes up 31x, okay, 31x plus यहाँ से 10y plus 22y, that makes up 32y plus, and this is minus 10 plus of 33, that is plus of 22z, okay, and this is plus 50 minus 44, that makes a plus of 6, and if I take on this right hand side, I'll get it as minus of 6. But that doesn't look similar to what I wanted to find, that is basically because the question में बोल रहा है the constant part is basically equal to 4, so 6 को 4 से कैसे भी relate नहीं कर सकते, that means I have done a mistake, okay, that means there is a mistake from my side, okay, that's also interesting. Let me solve for the mistake, okay. So यहाँ से अगर मैं देखता हूँ the mistakes, okay, so from here it will be 3 minus lambda and multiplied with minus of 3 is equal to 0. So यहाँ से multiply करूँगा तो minus of 9 and plus of 3 lambda is equal to 0, okay. So I guess this particular equation is correct, and this is 5 plus 10 lambda minus of 4 minus of 2 lambda minus of 9 plus 3 lambda is equal to 0. That will makes up 11 lambda and minus of 10, okay, 11 lambda minus of 10 only, I guess, okay. So minus of, and from here the lambda value is basically 10 by 11, okay. So lambda value is basically equal to 10 by 11, that will mix up this particular equation of the line, of the plane, okay. So the equation of plane, so with this okay, so 11 multiplied with this and 10 multiplied with this, so this will be 20 plus 10 minus of 10z plus of 50, so 50, and from here minus of 44, so 50 plus minus of 44, that makes a plus of 6, and which goes on right hand side, it will makes a minus of 6, okay. So I guess I have to check out some of these particular question, whether this question is correct or not. So let me check for the validity. यहाँ से एक छोटा सा mistake था जो from my side is basically this is minus of 13 plus of 5 is basically minus of 8, okay, that's a mistake from my side. This will be minus of 8, okay, this will be minus of 8. So from here I will get lambda value as 8 by 11. So अगर lambda का value 8 by 11 मिलता है, so this is lambda, from here this particular lambda is basically 8, okay. So this will makes up the equation of the plane. So अगर इसको multiply करते हैं 11 times इसको plus करते हैं, so this is 16, so this is actually 8 times of these particular values. So that means 11 plus 16 is how much? 11 plus 16 is 26, so this will be 26 times of x. So 22 plus of 8 is 30 times of y, and similarly this will be 33 minus of 8, so 33 minus of 8 is basically 25, okay, 25 times of z, 25 times of z is equal to, this will be 40 and minus of 44, that makes a minus of 4, and from if we take on the right hand side it will become as plus 4. So I hope now I am getting this results as correct result, so this is 4 over here, okay. So अगर मुझे यहाँ से 4 मिल गया, so that means basically the constant part is 4. So यहाँ से I am in a position to say the summation values of all this, okay. So from here if I look at the summation of these values, so from here the sum of a plus c minus of b is equal to, so a plus c minus b, because it is asking the question. So if I add a plus c, that is 26 plus 25, that will make up 51, and 51 if I subtract from 30, I'll get the result over here as, okay, that is 21, okay. So this is I guess is 25 only, okay. Again maybe a slightest mistake, okay. So this is 25z, okay, to 25z, so 33 minus of 8, okay. So 33 minus of 8 makes up how much? So 33 minus 8 will basically make up it is 13 minus 8 is basically 5, so and 25 only, okay. So this is coming out 25 only, so and this is 11 plus 16 is 27, okay. So this is a mistake, again a mistake. I don't know why I am making so many mistakes today. This is 27x, okay, so 27x over here. So the 27 plus 25 is basically equal to 52, Okay, so this is equal to 52. Now 52 minus 30 is basically equal to 22. So with this I will get to the right answer to the question is option number B, that is 22. So with this is the right answer to the question. I hope this particular discussion is clear. Okay, unless I am not doing any mistakes, okay, because I am not in a good practice, I maybe, okay, so today I am making a lot of mistakes, so excuse me for that. Okay, but if you look at this question, so सारे बच्चे तो confused इस particular चीज़ में हो जाने वाले हैं, that is basically this particular concept. Okay, so if you are looking at the concept, this is a very important concept. Okay, this particular concept is basically taken up by me in the initial lectures when I was teaching about the equation of plane. ठीक है, तो अगर मैंने equation of plane का equation देखा होगा तो I have already covered the equation of plane in parametric format by vector representation. I hope you have watched those particular lectures. So this particular equation represents this A is the point, this A vector is basically the position vector of a point which lies in this plane, and B vector and C vector are basically points which are parallel to the plane. ठीक है, so I hope you will keep these things in mind and you won't do these particular types of mistakes, okay, which I have done in my question. Okay, so apart from the mistakes, you will basically be able to solve this question accurately. So this is a good question. Okay, so let us move to the 7th question. Okay, so seventh question, it says about any plane, a plane basically containing the line of intersection of this particular plane and this particular plane. That means there is a two planes which basically and that this particular plane P passes to the line of intersection of these two planes. That is basically again a question of family of plane. So the first plane equation I can write it in format of x plus y plus z is equal to 6, and the second equation I can write it as 2x plus 3y plus of 4z is equal to minus of 5. ठीक है, सो यहाँ से अगर मेरे को पी प्लेन का इक्वेशन लिखना है, सो यहाँ से आई कैन राइट इट एज एक्स प्लस वाई प्लस जेड माइनस ऑफ 6 प्लस लैम्डा टाइम्स ऑफ 2x प्लस 3y प्लस ऑफ 4z प्लस ऑफ 5 इज इक्वल टू 0. ठीक है, नाउ इट इज ऑल्सो सेड इन द क्वेश्चन दैट द प्लेन P contain the point 0, 2, minus 2. So if this particular point lies in this particular equation of plane, from here I will get the value of lambda. So let me solve for the value of lambda. So I will get it as 2 minus 2 minus of 6, okay, plus lambda times of this is 0 plus this is 6 minus and this is 8 plus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, so from here you will get it as minus 6 plus lambda times of this is minus 2 plus 5 is basically equal to 3. So यहाँ से मुझे lambda का value मिलेगा as 2. So from here I got the value of lambda as 2. So if I am getting the value of lambda as 2, the equation of this plane P will be x plus y plus z minus 6 plus 4x, okay, plus 6y plus 8z, okay, plus 10 is equal to 0. So from here if I solve, it will be 5x plus 7y, okay, plus 9z plus this is plus of 4. Okay, so this is a required equation of this plane P. Okay, so from here I got the required equation of the plane P. Now it is said then the square of the distance from the point 12, 18 is how much? Okay, so I have to find the distance of a point from this particular plane. So let the distance be, and the point is basically 12, 18. Okay, so that makes up a lot of calculations. Okay, so if I put 12, 18, so I will get it as 12 into 5 is basically 60, and 12 into 7 is basically equal to 84, and for 9 into 18 is how much? 9 into 9 is equal to 161, I guess. Okay, so 9 into, sorry, this is 9 into 18, right? So 9 into 18, that means 180 minus 18 is basically equal to 162. Okay, so that makes up plus of 162 and plus of 4. So plus of 4 whole divided by square root of 5 square is 25 plus 49 plus 81. Okay, so 25 plus 49 plus 81, and I have to take the square value of this particular distance. So let me take the square of d square. So this will give me the result as, so 60 plus 84 is equal to 144, and 144 plus 4 is basically 148, and plus 162 makes up 310. Okay, so this is 310, and 310 ka whole square divided by this is 25 plus 49 plus 81. So if I sum up, there is 5 plus 9 is equal to 14, 14 plus 1 is 15, so if carried 1, so this is 2 plus 4, 6, 6 plus 14 is basically, and 14 plus carried 1 is basically 155. So that means we divided by 155. So if you solve for this result, so you can see one important thing is basically 310 into 310 divided by 155, and 155 2 times is equal to 310. So that makes up 620. So from here you got the right answer to the question is basically option number B, that is 620. Okay, this is basically the right answer to the question. Okay, so I hope this particular question was very pretty simple. Just आपको दो प्लेन का इक्वेशन निकालना था by the concept of family of plane, and I have taken up the concept in very detail. Okay, तो अगर आपने लेक्चर अभी तक नहीं देखे होंगे then definitely watch those lectures and come to this discussion, because these are the discussion to be watched when after you are done with the concepts. ठीक है. Okay, so let's solve the next problem, that is the 8th problem. So it is in the question. So question में mention क्या है? So there is a equation of plane which passes through the line of intersection of these two planes. That means basically talking about family of plane. So if I talk about the required plane, that can be written as 2x minus y plus z minus of 3. This particular equation plus lambda times of the second equation of plane, that is 4x minus 3y plus of 5z प्लस ऑफ 9 इज इक्वल टू 0. सो यहाँ से मुझे वो वाला प्लेन का इक्वेशन मिल गया. और इस पर्टिकुलर प्लेन का इक्वेशन जो दे रखा है, दैट इज बेसिकली पैरेलल टू दिस पर्टिकुलर लाइन. दैट मीन्स आई हैव टू यूज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ डॉट प्रोडक्ट, बिकॉज इफ आई कॉन्सिडर दिस पर्टिकुलर प्लेन एंड इसका नॉर्मल वेक्टर जो होने वाला है, तो अगर इस पर्टिकुलर प्लेन अगर लाइन के पैरेलल है, दैट मीन्स दिस पर्टिकुलर बोथ द वेक्टर्स का डॉट प्रोडक्ट लेंगे, आई विल गेट द रिजल्ट एज 0. सो फ्रॉम हियर आई विल गेट द वैल्यू ऑफ लैम्डा एज. So if I take out the equations of this particular plane, if I club the coefficient, I will get it as 2 plus 4 lambda plus y times of minus 1 minus of 3 lambda plus z times of 1 plus 5 lambda, okay, minus of 3 and plus of 9 lambda is equal to 0. So यहाँ से मुझे प्लेन का इक्वेशन मिल चुका होगा. एंड प्लेन का इक्वेशन का जो एक्स वाई और जेड कोफिशिएंट है, दैट दे आर बेसिकली द डायरेक्शन रेशियो ऑफ द नॉर्मल वेक्टर. और नॉर्मल वेक्टर का डायरेक्शन रेशियो को मल्टीप्लाई कर देते हैं उस पर्टिकुलर लाइन का वेक्टर के साथ, दैट मीन्स टेकिंग डॉट प्रोडक्ट, आई गेट द रिजल्ट एज 0. Okay, so I will get the result as 0 because these are basically parallel, because the line is parallel to this particular equation of plane. So from here I will get the result as 2 plus 4 lambda multiplied with minus of 2 plus 1 minus of lambda whole multiplied with 4 plus 5 times of 1 plus 5 lambda is equal to 0. So यहाँ से मुझे lambda का वैल्यू मिल जाएगा. So from here I will get the value of lambda as minus of 4, okay, minus of 4 minus of 8 lambda. Okay, so this will be minus of 4 and minus of 12 lambda, okay, plus of 5 and plus of 25 lambda, okay, is equal to 0. ठीक है. So यहाँ से that is minus of 20 and plus 25 lambda is basically 5 lambda, minus 4 and plus 5 minus 4 minus 8 plus 5 is basically plus of 3, that is equal to plus of 3. So यहाँ से lambda का वैल्यू मुझे मिलेगा that is minus of 3/5. ठीक है. सो यहाँ से लैम्डा का वैल्यू मुझे 3/5 मिलेगा. ओके, आई होप आई हैवंट डन एनी मिस्टेक. ठीक है, तो मिस्टेक एक बार फिर से आप लोग चेक कर लेना. ठीक है. सो यहाँ से मैं अगर लैम्डा का वैल्यू माइनस ऑफ 3/5 पुट करता हूँ, ओके, इफ आई पुट लैम्डा इज माइनस ऑफ 3 ओवर हियर एंड आई मल्टीप्लाई 5 विद हियर, सो आई विल गेट द रिजल्ट एज दिस विल 10x minus of 12 will give me minus of 2x, and this will be minus of 5y, and this is plus of 9, that will give me plus of 4y, okay, plus of 4y, and this will 5z minus 15, that will give me minus of 10z, and this will be minus 27 minus 15. So minus 15 and minus 27 will give me the result as this is 42. Okay, so this will give me the result as minus of 42. So from here if I want to have to take common, because the constant part is shown in the question is basically plus of 6 over here, so I have to make the constant as plus of 6. Okay, so in order to make the constant as plus of 6, I will take 2 common. So in order to minus 2 common, so they will get as x minus 2y plus of 5z, okay, and this will be minus of, so because I take minus 2 common, so plus of 21. But in order to doing so, I am not getting plus 6. Okay, so that means I again have done a mistake. Okay, so I have to solve for the check for the mistake. So if you check for the mistakes, okay, so that means this will be minus of 4 minus of 8 over here, this will be minus 4, okay, and minus of 12 lambda, this will be 5 plus 25 lambda. So minus 12 and minus 8 makes up minus 20 lambda plus of 25 5 lambda, and for this minus 4 minus 8 plus 5 is basically minus of 3, that means 5/3. So this is 5/3, okay, not minus 5/3. This is plus of 3, so this will make up plus 3. Okay, so this will make up plus 3. Okay, so from here I will get the result as 10 plus 12 is 22x. Okay, so I will get the results as, so these are basically wrong results. Okay, how I am basically getting the results, whether they are correct or not, is basically by checking whether this comes to the given condition of the क्वेश्चन में जो कंडीशन दे रखा है उससे मैच कर रहा है क्या नहीं, तो वहाँ से मुझे मिल रहेगा, ठीक है। तो यहाँ से प्लस ऑफ 22x, ओके, प्लस ऑफ 22x, दिस विल माइनस 9y minus 5 is basically minus of 14y, okay, and this will be plus 15 plus 5 is equal to plus of 20z, and this is plus 27 minus 15, so plus 27 plus minus 15, this will be plus of 12, okay, plus of 12, okay, so this will be plus of 12 is equal to 0. So from here if I take 2 common, I get 11x minus 7y plus of 10z plus of 6 is equal to 0, which is basically resembles the condition that is given in the question, because plus of 6 is a constant asked in the question. So यहाँ से मुझे x, y और z का कोफिशिएंट a b c में दे रखा है, that is basically 11 minus 7 and 10. So if I sum of all this, I'll get 21 minus 7 is basically equal to 14. With this, the right answer of the question is basically option number D, C. Okay, so I hope you will be able to solve this particular types of question. काफी simple type of question है. Let's move to the last question, that is with the 9th question. Okay, so the 9th question says that there is a plane which passes through the intersection of these two planes, this plane and this particular plane, and it is also perpendicular to this particular plane, and D is basically a distance of a point from this particular point. Okay, and then you have asked in the question is basically d square का value क्या होगा. So again this is a similar type of question, that is basically a question on the family of planes. So if you solve this particular question by taking out the condition of lambda, I hope you will be able to solve these types of questions. Okay, so I will be basically explaining you the concept, and then I will leave the solution of this question up to you. Okay, so I guess you will be able to solve this particular type of question again, because I have taken a lot of questions on this particular fashion only. So you will assume this equation of plane P as 2x plus 3y minus z minus 2 plus lambda times of x plus 2y प्लस ऑफ 3z माइनस 6 इज इक्वल टू 0. सो यहाँ से आपका प्लेन पी का इक्वेशन मिल जाएगा, और प्लेन दूसरा प्लेन जिसका परपेंडिकुलर इस पर्टिकुलर प्लेन है उसका भी इक्वेशन दे रखा है. तो उन दोनों का डॉट प्रोडक्ट लेके, बिकॉज दे इज सेड इन द क्वेश्चन बिकॉज दे आर परपेंडिकुलर, यू विल डायरेक्टली टेक द डॉट प्रोडक्ट ऑफ द बोथ देयर नॉन फैक्टर एंड इक्वल टू 0. सो यहाँ से आपको लैम्डा का वैल्यू मिल जाएगा. सो यहाँ से आपको लैम्डा का वैल्यू मिल जाएगा, और लैम्डा वैल्यू मिल गया तो आपको प्लेन का इक्वेशन मिल जाएगा. सो अगर प्लेन का इक्वेशन मिल गया, देन डायरेक्टली यूज द concept of distance formula. So distance formula is basically how much, that is basically putting these points in this particular equation, that is ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 plus of d whole divided by square root of a square p square plus c square. आप ऐसे करके डिस्टेंस फार्मूला से इक्वेट कर लेना d का वैल्यू, और जो क्वेश्चन में पूछा जाता है बेसिकली d स्क्वायर, इसको स्क्वायर करके आंसर कर देना. सो आई होप यू विल बी एबल टू सॉल्व दिस टाइप्स ऑफ क्वेश्चन. तो काफ़ी सिंपल टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन है, ठीक है. सो यू विल बी एबल टू सॉल्व दिस टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन, ठीक है. So I am leaving this question solution up to you, and you will be taking up this question. Now let me move back to another important question that I want to give as homework, is basically this particular question. So try to solve this question on your own. Okay, so I am leaving this question as a homework problem, to all of you. Okay, so solve this question and get the answer and write that answer as well as the discussion कि कैसे आप इस particular problem का approach किए हो in the comment section. So do let me know in the comment section how you are basically getting the answer. So if I want to talk about the right answer to the question is basically option B, ठीक है. तो ऑप्शन बी इज बेसिकली राइट आंसर, बट आप क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करना एंड टेली कि मेरा आंसर √174 आ रहा है या नहीं आ रहा है. आई एम टेलिंग यू द आंसर इज ऑप्शन बी. आप करके क्वेश्चन को देखना, ठीक है, और क्वेश्चन का करके आप कमेंट सेक्शन में डेफिनेटली मेंशन मी कि द आंसर जो द क्वेश्चन इज बेसिकली ऑप्शन बी, और मैंने ऐसे टाइप के क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व किया है, एंड हाउ आर दिस पर्टिकुलर लेक्चर्स आर बेनिफिशियल टू ऑल ऑफ यू. आई होप यू विल बी टेकिंग केयर ऑफ, ओके, because I have taken a lot of question discussion, okay, in this particular lecture. So I hope you are basically able to understand this today's discussion on the previous year concepts of 3D geometry. Now in the upcoming lectures I will take up that discussion of previous year questions on the topic of vectors. I hope you will be I hope you will follow those lectures content, and those are basically beneficial to all of you for the competitive exam preparation. If you are enjoying these videos and you are thinking these videos are basically beneficial to all of your preparation, then definitely like the video as well as subscribe to my channel and help me reach the other student as well. Also share this particular video among all of your friends. With this I take a leave from today's discussion. Thank you.